Murders are always difficult to solve because you never have the version of the deceased. You just go by what evidence there is. But this case is different. It's not a murder, it's an attempted murder. And it involves a man, a missionary from America, who went to Liberia to do missionary work. His name is Lucas Richard. So Lucas Richard, a married man, head of a church, went to Liberia to practice his missionary work. And one of the things he was doing there was teaching at a missionary school. So while he was teaching there, he met a girl, a young girl. The age has not been given. She was just a member of the school. Her name is Jessica Lloyd. He decided to have a relationship with her. He was honest though. He told her that he was actually married, but that his wife was old and he wanted another wife. When he met her parents, they agreed. The parents were happy. He paid the bride price. It is actually allowed Liberia to have more than one wife. Polygamy is legal in Liberia. So Lucas Richard married this girl traditionally, so it was a legal marriage, but he never informed the church. I don't know if his wife knew about this. I mean, the other American wife, the white American wife, not living together because she was still attending the school. Lucas got this girl pregnant, but he was not happy about the pregnancy. Apparently, he injected her with some drug that terminated the pregnancy. And when that pregnancy was out, he decided to kill her. It's not known why. And these are all allegations, by the way. It's not, he's denying all these allegations. So I went to her parents' house and picked her up in his car and had a big knife. Driving around, looking for a place to kill her, basically. He found a place in a bush and said, come out here, called her out to follow him out into the bush. And he claimed that there was a big snake and that's why he had the knife. Said, come and see this big snake. And the girl was like, no, I'm scared of snakes. I'm not coming out to see a snake. So he failed. Went back into the car with her and they drove around a bit again. And then he said, oh, I've just seen a weird animal in the bush. Stopped and went out to the bush with this big knife and said, come here, Jessica. There's a big animal there. You want to come and see it? And Jessica was like, no, I don't want to see some weird animal. And then he decides, okay, I'll come back into the car, and drove around a bit, stopped somewhere close to a river, and then walked to the river. There were other people there. So he went back, oh, let's drive a little more. Went to a cemetery, stopped at a cemetery, said, this is nice and quiet. Let's sit around here. And she was like, no, I don't want to sit around at a cemetery. They went back into the car, and then he decided, stopped again. After driving a little, I need a wee. So he goes out, says he's wanting a wee, and called her, come here, come here. But every time he went out of the car, he had that big knife with him. And she said, I don't want to follow you. No. Then Richard Lucas decided, oh, I'm going to stop again because this time something is wrong with one of the tires. And he got out of the car with his knife, looking at the tire, and then called Jessica out and said, can you bring, I don't know whether it was a spanner or something, but something from the car. And Jessica brought it out, believing that something was wrong with the tire. And he asked her to look at something down there. When she bent down, he hit her on the head with something. She fell down, and he took his big knife and started to cut her throat. Lucky enough, there was a tricycle coming, and the man on the tricycle was shouting out, help, help, in his language. Mr. Lucas decided to act like he's saving his wife when he actually wasn't. And the man on the tricycle called people, come, 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 what's happening here? Because he had seen what Lucas Richard was doing. And Lucas Richard changed the story. He said, actually, I didn't do anything to her. I asked her to come out of the car. And while she was out of the car, that tricycle hit her. Says she's been hit by the tricycle. So the guy on the tricycle is lying, saying that I tried to hurt her. So it was a mishmash of he said, she said between himself and the guy. The problem here was that Jessica was unconscious. She couldn't speak at the time. She was rushed to the hospital. Lucky enough, she woke up. And then she told the truth, her truth, after what her husband had lied about. Mr. Lucas was arrested. As I speak, he's still arrested in Liberia, and the case is being looked into. He's an American citizen, and this case wasn't getting as much media attention as it should have. I don't know why. But now it's out there and people are speaking of it because it shouldn't be buried. because of who he is. And the church has now renounced him because they found out that he married someone else. He wasn't supposed to do that according to their church values. So they've renounced him. He's no longer supported by the church, but he's been incarcerated. He's being charged with attempted murder. So there you have it. I hope this girl gets well soon, and be careful, especially if your man says, I've got a wife, she's too old, I want a new wife. Creepy as, but thankfully, Jessica is fine. That is the most important thing. And the other important thing is that this man should face justice. Thank you for watching.